What's going on, guys? Joe Roberts here. Here to discuss this week's assignment. This week's our main focus was the HTML structure to demonstrate our semantic HTML skills by writing HTML for each component. My first component was a simplified header component. What I did was I used a header tag, and inside there I have the logo, which would be inside of a figure tag, and then of course your navigation with an ordered list, and then of course your list elements with the actual anchor tags attached to them to symbolize, hey, click me. The reason behind me using the actual header tag. Header tag basically represents a container for introductory content. So essentially, when you go into a website, the header is the first thing that you're pretty much going to notice on a website. It also harvests nav links, logo icons, or authorship information. So that's my reason behind just using a straight header tag. Figure tag, again, this right here, you it differs from developer to developer, I believe. The figure tag specifies self-contained content, photos, illustrations, and code listings, if you'd like to do that. Then of course inside that header tag again is the actual nav tag, which is a set of navigational links, obviously. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty self-explanatory for this first component. Moving along, we have in component 2, which would be the latest news. This one, it was kind of challenging. I don't know. What I did was it starts out with a H2 tag at the very top with the latest news inside of that. The heading is centered, has a H2 class, a sitting header. Then of course your P class paragraph with some lorem ipsum. And of course there's an image, an H5 tag, paragraph tag, and this little guy right here, time. Basically it's just human readable date and time. That's all it is. Just makes it easier for humans to read it and allows you to incorporate a date and time. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Then of course you got your anchor tag down here where you can actually see all the news. It has a class as a button. Well, again, the anchor tag with href, and it just says, hey, click me, so we can go on and read more about the actual news. On number 3 here, component 3, this is kind of a services type little guy, I guess, or the features for this particular website. Of course, I started it out as a section of the this particular component. Basically, the section is document, chapters, headers, and footers. It's basically a piece of the website. Inside that, you can notice that it's broken down into articles, and as we know, articles are independent, self-contained content, and they should make sense, obviously, and they should be possible to distribute independently from the rest of the site. Basically, it's you want to use an article tag to create news stories, blog posts, forums, and comments, and stuff like that. and that's basically what this is. And then below it there is a more button. I used a button class equals button with the value of more. Before I was using input, which is naughty practice. So I had to slap my wrist on that one. And I reviewed it after further guidance from my instructor, and did a little bit more research. And this seemed to make a little bit more sense to me to use this. Again, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 articles inside of an actual section. Okay, and of course you got your closing section, and that's going to end the entire section. Let's see, component 4. This is an actual, I believe this is my gallery. Starting it out with a section again. This is a part of the website. I wanted it's used for chapters, or part of the website, headings and footers. I mean, it could be used for anything. Not everything, but I use this one for the actual gallery. And of course, inside that, you have the H1 tag, the last added. This is the first part that you're going to see. It's going to be standing out in front of everything. And then inside that, you have your unordered list of a bunch of photos that essentially will be laid out in a once you incorporate some CSS inside that. And last but not least, your anchor tag that says, hey, click me, view all apartments, and that'll take you to a separate page. And of course, your end section that closes off that particular part of that website, that particular section of the website, where you can go on further down and review it more. This one is my call to action, aka Mr. CTA. Again, I started this out with a section just to emphasize more of a part of the website. Saying I can emphasize, hey, this. When you scroll back down here, again, section defines section in document chapters, headers, and footers. Again, H2 tag, I use this because it stands out a little bit more. It has a little bit more emphasis on the actual header part of the CTA. And then below that we have our paragraph tag. It has a little bit of lorem ipsum, and then inside that we have what we call a form and a label, and this is used basically to would be basically where you would input your information. The user would interact with that form and input the email and what is required. And inside that, this is where we would actually use our input tag to inside of this form, and inside that I placed a placeholder that says enter your email, and it would actually, I put it in a required, so you wouldn't move past this without a tooltip popping up saying, hey, you need to fill this information in. And last but not least, we have our button, type, submit, value, subscribe button. We're going to close off our form. So then after that, of course, our section. Okay, say, hey, this section's done, it's over with. Moving on, we have our another little, I think this is our contact page. Yeah, this is our contact us. Again, I started this out with a section, an H2 tag with some emphasis on the contact us, so the user knows that this is the contact page. This obviously is going to be a form. We got some field sets, and the reason behind this is that when using field sets, you're going to have different requirements, different fields for contact pages. You're going to want a user to enter the name, an email, phone, organization message, and stuff like that. Now, as you can see here, each one starts out with a field set, and then inside that actually has the label of actually what that field is. And that runs all the way down, and then of course you close the form, and then you're going to close the section. Here is my footer. This is basically self-explanatory. Footer is basically the bottom of the page. It's going to display anything from your company's name, the logo, any legal information, privacy policy, copyright information. As you can see in here, I only used an image source of, well, that's obviously going to be the logo with an alt of the site logo, and then here the paragraph, the copyright, and then of course here the anchor tag of the privacy policy. And then I put in an ordered list with my anchor tags to my social media, which would be the company's social media, and then of course your icons. And then you want to, and this is the close of the owner list and the footer close. Pretty self-explanatory. Moving on, my component 8. This is the couple articles inside of a section. Okay, 3 different articles for this little guy. This basically stands out to me as a section holding 3 different articles because it displays information, kind of like current news or like a little blog or a little paragraph. Inside here I have a figure, and that's going to be where the image is placed, and below this is our H2 tag. Explaining, what this particular article title is. Below this is an H6 tag, and this is kind of like a subtitle. That's the reason I use this H6 tag, because you have this H2, which is the title, tells you what you're going to be actually, what this is actually about, and then like a little subtitle, and then of course your paragraph. And you can actually click on this button. This is the anchor tag to actually read more into this article. Again, it's all the same thing all the way down. I'm just using this one particular section of code to demonstrate my understanding and why I used this semantic markup for with this. Again, each article is going to be closed off, and then last but not least, our section. Moving on to component 9. This is meet our team. This one, again, was I used a section. I became quite fond of the sections because I went in and I used a lot of one-page websites, like an all-in-one. I love them because it's right there. It's my personal preference. To each his own, right? Again, I use this little H2 tag to meet our team because this extra component, it was kind of small, so it doesn't it didn't require an H1 tag, only because the font didn't really, to me, it didn't stand out as much. So I put in an H2 tag because looking at the component, you can see that it doesn't kind of stand out as, hey, I'm an H1 tag. And below it you have a small paragraph. And our figure tag, this was used. I went in and used another figure tag because this specifies self-contained content, illustrations, diagrams, photos, etc. Then down here is the actual team. We have, again, I used a figure tag, and each one of these are the images of the people that are being portrayed, or the team, or the company, or the bosses. Each one of these have an H3 tag to emphasize the names. To me, you can actually go a little bit further with this and add a little bit an emphasis tag, I believe, to kind of emphasize it or make it a little bit bold. But you know, that comes with CSS. You can always do that and more in the back end part of it. Getting this, and then this section would be closed off. And last but not least, we have this little guy. I really liked this particular component because of the icons that were incorporated with it. Again, I went in and used this as a section, and wanted to basically define this portion of the website in the document. And this actually has it. To me, it was like an H1 tag with, but it was linked. Like if you go to the actual, template I used, I was looking at it, and when I hovered over it, it had a hover effect when it changed different colors. So I'm looking at it, and I was like, okay, well, this needs to be an H1 tag, an anchor tag with an href of yada 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 yada. Okay. Below that would be an actual paragraph for that particular article. And the reason it shouldn't be an article. I say article, but I'm thinking it may lead to an actual article section of the page. So let's see. Yep, so that's pretty much it. The section tag is closed off, and the figure, yeah, I just used figure here. But yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory, and that's the reason I use that. Is I basically just did a figure with the image, and I incorporated the actual icon PNG for each one, and you can go through and look at this and see how it was actually laid out. And this is, like I said, once you style it, and you can see. But that's pretty much it. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I may have missed a couple things. Overall, I think I got a pretty good understanding of HTML, the semantics of HTML writing, and getting everything laid out pretty good. I ran into a few problems, but hey, we're all learning here. Thanks for watching, and